Technology always seems to be pushing the limits of consumer expectations, driving companies to think outside the box. Ford's annual Trend Conference takes a look at exactly which consumer trends are shaping the way they create new products. So joining me now with a first-hand look, we have consumer tech journalist Jennifer Jolly. Jennifer, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so this question, I'm looking at this and I'm even confused. I'm interested to find out because they are now using sustainable materials like agave to create car parts. How is that working?
Yes, and you know what agave makes, right? Agave makes tequila, and this is what's left over. After they get the tequila parts out of the agave, this material is left over. It's kind of like a shredded coconut. There's hundreds of thousands of pounds of this. Well, what Ford's doing here and what we got to see yesterday is they're taking this and they're making a bioplastic out of it and replacing petroleum-based plastic inside these cars. Now, every car in America is driving around with about 400 pounds of petroleum-based plastic. So replacing it with a material like this, a sustainable material, is better for emissions, it's better for the planet, and in the end, it's better for our pocketbooks. So it's a win-win all the way around.
All right, pretty cool. Okay, so talking about kind of the sustainability, all these new trends, electric cars, also hot. So what's going on in the world of electric vehicles?
Well, the big buzzword around here was electrified vehicles. And I kept saying, what is that? Like a Franken car? Like what does that even mean? And what that means is instead of looking at cars like just electric cars, so they only run off of a battery and only for a certain amount of miles, or only a hybrid version that's part plug-in and part gasoline, they're really looking at a bunch of different shapes this can take. Whether it's ride-sharing vans or e-bikes, Ford's committed about $4.5 billion over the next 4.5 years to putting 13 new electrified vehicles onto the roads. So what that means to me, because I'm always kind of thinking about it that way, is that I might finally be able to afford an e-car within the next 5 years.
All right, well, let's get into those self-driving cars. This is another thing we always kind of want to be able to have, right, that can do a little bit of the work for us. So when are those going to hit the roads? When can we get our hands on them?
Well, I hit the road in one yesterday, and this is Ford's prototype. This is a Ford Fusion. It's a Class 4 electrified vehicle. Now, it's only a prototype, but what that means in the future is no steering wheel, no gas pedals, no brakes, no driver whatsoever. You ride in this car, and so I took this ride yesterday, and the car took me for a ride. The car's driving me, and I kept thinking, how does it know that that person's stepping off the sidewalk in front of me? How does it know when to stop? And really, even as a tech reporter, wrapping my head around that was kind of challenging. Well, it uses LiDAR. These are light-sensitive radars. They sense a whole bunch of information around the car. There's an array of these cameras. All these things are gathering information, running it through a supercomputer that can process that information so much faster than our brains can. And all of this works together to create a vehicle. It's like a robot car that can get us where we need to go. Now, you asked when we'll see these on the roads. 4.5 years of fleets coming for ride sharing. So beyond just a car that you can buy and drive around yourself, there's this whole idea of kind of working on gridlock and some of those big issues as well.
All right, Jennifer, what's new coming from Ford? Thanks so much for bringing that to us today.
Thanks so much for having me.